It is summertime in Australia, which means every man in short shorts is out there mowing their lawn, but we won't let that stop us from going through the indies for December of 2025. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Chris, and today's video is our last indie release list of 2025, and I apologise as always that you're going to see the ring light in my glasses, but I do want to protect my eyesight so that I can read all these fantastic blurbs. December is a surprisingly busy month for the indies. I thought people would be like winding down, but no, we have got a full stack of indies to get through this month. Now, as always, these lists do not come from me. They come from Rob J. Hayes and AJ Calvin over on their respective blogs, which will, of course, be linked down below. I have had some people come to me after the fact and say, hey, why wasn't my book on the videos? And that is because I really just read these lists. If I know that a book is coming out and I have the foresight to put them on the list, then I will. If you have a book out and they haven't been put on the list but you want them to be included, I don't necessarily just need the indies from fantasy and sci-fi, which is what this channel mainly gravitates towards, and a little bit of horror as on AJ Calvin's blog, but I'm happy to put any self-published work in here as long as there's no AI that hasn't been used or knowingly been used in the process is basically my main criteria for that. With that out of the way, let's jump into the list because this is going to be a lengthy video. On December 1st, we have a plethora of books coming our way, or books that are already out in the world from both lists. So until I say another date, just assume all of these were out on December 1st. We're going to start with At the Road's End. This is Gone Home by Nils Odlund, and I apologize if I pronounce any of the names here wrong. This is urban fantasy. Tony tried to change the world for the better, but she went too far, and the world turned against her. A terrorist, murderer, and heretic, they say, a fallen paladin rejected by her god. Once the Inquisitors catch up to her, it's all over. In a bid for closure, Tony returns home to Culvillia in the far north to say her final farewell to Parvi, her sister, who was told Tony died 16 years ago. But Parvi will hear no farewells. She can't accept what Tony has done or who she's become. It's up to Tony alone to show her sister that the young woman Parvi once knew still lives on in her heart. But Parvi won't listen, and time is running out. Because, regardless of the truth, once the Inquisitors catch up to her, Tony will be executed for her crimes. And though she might be a villain in everyone else's story, Tony doesn't want to die a monster in her sister's eyes. That sounds very emotionally charged. Also, remember what I just said? These are all on the 1st of December. We have Blades Forged by P.J. Ashton. This is Empire of Knives, book number 1. This is epic fantasy, grimdark, historical fantasy, and gaslamp. Captain Darrow of the Night Soil leads the Emperor's beloved mudline, murderers, thieves, and lunatics press into service because shooting them was too much paperwork. Lucky him. Once a filth collector, now the Empire's favourite monster, he kills for loyalty and for the faint hope that someone better is giving the orders. His men burn a farm. Darrow shows mercy, if you can call it that, and spares the lone survivor, Mirelle, by claiming her as property. Nothing says compassion like a collar. Truly, he is the hero the Empire deserves. Mirelle of the Root, property, companion, supposed to die. Instead, she got a wardrobe and a necklace with 3 small diamonds. Fair trade. The thing about dogs is they hate collars, and this one is about to throw hers. She is done smiling, and she is learning to cut. Henna of the Wire swears like a sailor, drinks like one too, and prefers a sharp knife to manners. Once sold by her father, she now makes her living killing men who remind her of him. She is reminded a lot. Queen Alicia of Candia plays the perfect captive. Her smile is a weapon, her charm a trap. After dealing with her, most men would settle for being stabbed. She does not need steel, she knows the game better than that. Survival is theatre, and she is directing the play. All of them are blades, forged, waiting to cut. That sounds quite intriguing. I might check that one out. We also have Tethered to Darkness. This is Veil of Sands, book number 1 by Matt Falcon. I quite like this cover. I'll put them up here. In Eden City, where relentless sands dowl the land outside the city, Shen Orgor is the reluctant heir to a dark legacy. His father, Eden, revered as the immortal vessel of the gods, holds sway over a dying world. But when Shen's mother reveals whispers of hidden secrets that lie in the blistering wasteland, Shen's sheltered life unravels. Fueled by a burning need for answers, Shen embarks on a perilous journey beyond the city's walls, into the unforgiving desolation. Alongside his fierce friend Gris, he encounters a darkness that will not be sated until it consumes all. As rebellion ignites and the darkness looms, she must confront her father's tyranny and master a power born of love and rage to save his world or watch it burn. There are some great sounding books already this month. Now, a very easy and early cover pick for me is coming up next. This is A New War by C.K. Ryder, and this is the Moonlit Trilogy book number 1, and this is Epic Fantasy and Romance. This has got a really long blurb. I should have bought water. Army Sergeant Cassie Higgins is ready to hang up her boots as she embarks on her final deployment to the Middle East, one she thought would be a simple farewell to war and danger. Petite yet fearless, her world is upended the moment she locks eyes with Bryce, an impossibly tall, muscular stranger with an allure she can't explain. It's always a Bryce. When she discovers he's a werewolf and her fated mate, of course he is, Cassie's reality fractures, revealing a hidden realm of magic, mystery, and ancient evil. Unbeknownst to her, Cassie possesses something, a rare pink aura, an energy source hunted by the sinister Moonlit Wanderer, a creature born from dark coven magic who killed her mother and stole her father years ago. Now he's back, hungry and obsessed for Cassie's powerful essence. After a deadly clash between the Wanderer and Bryce leaves chaos in their wake and soldiers dead, Cassie joins forces with her loyal army comrades, Jack and Wiggler. Love that there's a name Wiggler in here. Their journey leads across war-ravaged sands of the Middle East to Germany, where Cassie unearths a hidden magical kingdom, her destiny as a bridge between worlds, a long-lost family, and secrets about herself that she never anticipated. I'm interested. Amid enchanted forests and battles of blood and spell, Cassie and Bryce's bonds deepen, igniting a romance as fierce as the fight they face. Wizard duels, werewolf skirmishes, and family betrayals twist through the pages as allies Tyson, Bryce's brave brother, Seraphina, a spellbinding witch, and an unexpected Moonlit Coven member whose allegiance might shift the tides of war. As Cassie embraces her destiny, this gripping tale of love, legacy, and luminous power sets the stage for an epic trilogy. A new war builds to a harrowing climax as the Wanderer's reign begins to crumble, but not before he leaves behind a darkness that threatens everything Cassie's found. That sounds like it's going to be quite epic for the fantasy romance lovers and readers out there. We also have Sentinals Origins by Helen Garraway. This is epic fantasy and it looks like this. I believe this is an Aussie author if I'm not mistaken. There's nothing in this blurb that I can tell you that I don't know if it's spoilery or not, so we're going to move on, but this is what the cover looks like. We also have The Knowing Doll by Holiday Vermont. This is the Twisting World book number 1, and this is urban fantasy, dystopian, and post-apocalyptic. Apocalyptic. I can speak. The Knowing Doll, delighted in idle cruelties, held Nadir City under her wooden thumb, and at the height of her power, beholding the desolation she created, the great spymaster walked away saying, "No more." Now she's only Delilah, struggling each day to be a good woman. Even though her new friends question her motives, they've given her a second chance and a new home in Stonetown. Delilah has dedicated herself to this town, a rare oasis of trust and community in the twisting world, hoping to make up for what she broke in Nadir. But Nadir learned its greed from Delilah and stretched their hand out hungrily toward her new home. War lingers on the horizon. To stop it, Delilah is faced with a cruel choice: remain the woman of peace or become the knowing doll once more and abandon the moral progress for which she has struggled. We also have The Path of Poison by Sean Hill. This is I don't know whether this is an anthology of sorts. It's definitely flash fiction, which is what it's portrayed as here, and it's another flash fiction within this work. And we've sort of had these periodically throughout the year. I don't have a cover for this one, but if you're looking for the new story in this collection, that is available. We also have The Year 2471 by Lloyd Samira Samhain, which is queer speculative fiction. It looks like it's available, but I don't have a cover for this one yet either. I will check and see if it has been released by the time I release this list out to the wild. Interplanetary travel in a future ruled by the clever, a rabid zombie virus breaking out on the moons of Jupiter while the player ravages Earth. Caught in the middle is Max, who had but one friend, Alex, who was recruited by the Clever when he was only 18. He must travel to Saturn's moon Dione to find his king's lost friend, but other stowaways change his plans. Interesting. We have, on the 2nd of December, we have moved on from the 1st of December, The Song That Shatters. This is the Peel Song Refounding book number 3 by Michael D. Warden, and this has got a really cool cover as well. Just that pop of blue in the top, like where it's lit up, those words. That is quite delightful to me. An ancient prophecy has come to pass, but will it bring deliverance or doom? I can't give too much more away. We also have The World That Prevails. This is the Peel Song Refounding book number 4. Wait. We have book 3 and 4 in the month of December on the same day. It says, in a battle for the soul of the age, who will have the final word? Wow. That's a lot of writing to be done on one day. On the 4th of December, we have New Depths. This is The Legend of the Awakened Goblin by Chad Rederath. I really need to get around to something by this author. Every book that I've read the blurb from on these lists just sounds like a lot of fun. And maybe I'm entering into a world where I don't hate humor so much. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I've been wrong before. But these all sound like a good time. Secrets lie in the dark depths of the Ocean Dungeon. Ocean Dungeon? Oh, man. I have to look this series up again. On the 5th of December, we have the Grand Arcane Council, the Arcana Chronicles, book number 3 by J.S. Willis. This is urban fantasy and YA. We've got some cool purple things happening here and some undead by the looks of it in the background. Danger, destiny, and defiance. Can one boy master his fate before the devil destroys the vulnerable? On the 5th of December, we have Little Bead in a Squall by C.B. Lansdell, and this is a choose-your-own-adventure or interactive fiction, which sounds like a bit of fun. Each generation of naiads is a gift from the sea, a carer in training. Abulon understands this better than most. He has been taught to scout for the young polyps that come on peregrine tides. I can speak, I swear. I have just finished work, but I can still speak. And prepare them for a life on land. But in order to complete his training, he must lead the seagrass meadows of the Fentu Brise for a clan with stormy seas and an uncertain future. Will he find his purpose on this wild coastline, and what else might it have in store for him? Interesting. I'm always super curious with the interactive stories, because this one says it's a game that can be played for free on an interactive fiction app called Unearthed Stories, which a friend of mine, Olivia J. Elliott, runs. So that's kind of cool. Also on the 5th of December, we have Gift of Shadow by Matt Hepe, and this is grimdark. I apologize if I mispronounce that. Is that a demon dog? A girl walks out of the forest with a dead puppy in her arms. Oh. Pale and emaciated, she seems like easy prey, but those who try to take advantage soon. Gift is a survivor of the realm of shadow, and the darkness she escaped has marked her forever. That sentence doesn't quite make sense to me, but we'll keep going. Gift has only one goal, to return to the safety of her master's tower, but the world she's returned to is not the one she left. Demon lords rule humanity, ghouls stalk the night, souls are bartered like coins. In a land where mercy is weakness, if you're not willing to be a killer, you're asking to be the victim. On the 6th of December, another beautiful cover here, just the gorgeous colors and the celestial, almost looks like a caracal in the back there. This is Tales of Lunis Aquaria. I'm so sorry. By Tessa Hasiayento. I apologize if I mispronounce that. I also apologize for whatever is happening to my throat, which sounds like it's whistling. I do have asthma, but it's not playing up. I just sound like I'm whistling in my throat, so apologies. Anyway, look at this cover. Decades have passed since the old gods vanished, but the divine mark still lingers on Lunis Akira. I'm going to stop speaking. This is the cover. It's gorgeous. On the 8th of December, we have Echoes of Silver by Liz Delton. This is Legends of Gold and Silver, book number 2, and it's epic fantasy. Very cool cover with a dragon opening its maw. I don't know whether this is part of a building or an actual dragon. There looks to be a table in the middle. Cool cover. Very into it. But it's a book 2, so we'll need to move on from there. On the 9th of December, we have Off with Their Sleds by C.J. Daly. This is a Cemetery Collection book number 3. C.J. Daly does like little short story collections within the horror genre. This is thriller, mystery, and crime this time. Detective Williams and Ed Rees are back. This holiday season, the town of Cemetery is getting just a little bit stranger. When a 911 call leads to a decapitated family and one hastily scrawled bloody message, the duo will stop at nothing to arrest this latest killer. But when the only witness is claiming Santa Claus is the killer, and the only evidence leads to a supposedly dead patient, they're left scrambling. Will they beat the odds and be home in time for Christmas dinner? That sounds like a bit of fun. It's always weird to say it sounds like fun when it's a horror and there's like death involved. On the 14th of December, we have Frostfeld, The Morning Sun by Joseph Elliott Coleman, and this is urban fantasy. Really cool cover on this one as well, just with the white and like the pops of color, and like the font is working. Another really long blurb. Guys, killing me with the long blurbs. In a world where human and beings of myth and legend live side by side, the horrifying and the uncompromising nature of the supernatural forces, the police, and those wields of magic called Inquisitors to work together to save the lives of an entire town. That was a long sentence. When the French town of Chateau d'Ours suffers its first murder in over 100 years, the police discover to their horror that the victim, a teenager, was murdered by supernatural means. This necessitates immediate contact with the special inquisitorial branch. Trained sorcerers deal with threats of both the supernatural and the extraterrestrial kind. One of the two Inquisitors who arrives is named Philip Frostfeld, who is both a hero in his own right and the latest scion of the legendary Frostfeld clan, a family whose name is synonymous with sacrifice, heroism, and duty. However, Philip grieves the recent death of his wife in the line of duty and is forced to come to terms with his loss while investigating a case whose aspects chill the blood. He, his partner, and the town's police force soon find themselves in the middle of an ancient Cold War between beings who are utterly indifferent to the lives of others, who dispatch the most vicious agents to execute their will. As an ancient past and immediate present collide, the streets of Chateau d'Ours become a battleground as both the lives and the souls of the town's residents, and possibly the world, hang in the balance. Swords will swing, guns will roar, magic will burn, and blood will flow as a morning sun learns to use his grief as fuel for justice. Grief evolves into forgiveness, then love, and a steadfast knight is given a second chance to protect those who cannot protect themselves. On the 16th of December, we have Dogged by Michael R. Fletcher. This is sword and sorcery, and I saw like the arrow tropey, I don't know what they're called, but they're like a certain marketing technique where you put arrows and you sort of give indication of what the book's about. And it says like big puppy. Not wrong, there's a big puppy on the cover. War dogs are born to die. Why are the dogs dead? In the final days of the Demon Empire, a lone war dog goes in search of the answer to the only question she cares: who murdered her mate? Utterly unqualified to solve a mystery, dogged determination has but one: she never ever gives up. Utterly unqualified to solve a mystery, dogged determination has but one: she never ever gives up. And from the heart of a massive empire to the deepest foreboding jungles, dogged is an unstoppable force of will. On December 16th, we have Sworn in Twilight. This is the Lunar Order Chronicles book number 3 by S.F. Hearn, and this is urban fantasy. Very urban fantasy cover here. The city forged her powers. Returning home will spell her destruction. That doesn't sound good for her. On the 16th of December, we have The Black-Eyed Queen. This is Fate of the Furex, book number 6 by A.E. Rain, and I apologize if I mispronounced that series name. This is epic fantasy and historical fantasy. Cool cover with this one as well. I initially thought it was a little bit too dark, but I quite like the pops of the purple with like the leaves and the light coming in from behind. This is a book 6, so I'm just rambling, so you can have a look at this cover for a little bit longer. On the 18th of December, we have In the Wrath of Legends. This is the Winterhawk Saga, book number 2 by David Buzan, I apologize. This is historical fantasy. I don't have a tagline here, but I do have a Yeti. I can offer you a Yeti on the cover. On the 20th of December, we have Rebels and Ravens. This is the Shattering book number 2 by Will Rivard. Rivard, apologies again. This is a very cool cover as well, probably a second pick for me. The king is hated, but he is feared. These wolves look to be alive, unlike the other dogs that we've come across in this list. Also on the 20th of December, we have Solstice War Fairy Tales, book number 3. This is romance and LGBTQIA+, it looks like, by Kel E. Fox, and it looks like this. I don't know if this has spoilers in it, but I don't want to risk it. So, beautiful blue cover, particularly for those who are experiencing winter right now. On the 24th of December, we have Whose Woods Are These by Assault Murphy coming out. I already said December 24th, just in time for Christmas, if you want a little bit of horror for your Christmas season. Stray from the narrow path and lose your soul, for these woods are hungry and steeped in darkness. 6th century Ireland, close to the winter solstice, 13-year-old Eowyn is journeying by boat along the coast to celebrate Christmas at the monastery with his siblings. When rough seas force his party to land, Eowyn is relieved to trade the frightening waves for the shelter of the forest. Oh, that sounds bad for you. The trees provided protection from the elements, but strange animals dwell in these woods. 5 large wolfhounds surrounded Eowyn and his siblings. Mysterious lights and voices tempt them towards unseen delights, but the pleasing lures turn into nightmares the further they travelled along the path. I could have told you that, mate. Tormented by ghosts, Eowyn finds himself at the heart of the forest, where something sinister waits for him on the darkest day of the year. He better pray his faith is strong enough to protect him from the entity who dwells within the trees. Thoughts and prayers to Eowyn. On the 26th of December, we have A Reckoning of Fates by Maria Angelina, and this is the Druid War book number 3. Got a very bright cover here toward the end of this list. This is epic fantasy. I'm just having a very quick look through the blurb, and I'm not confident that doesn't give away spoilers, but it looks like this. It's got a cool cover. On the 30th of December, we have Mysterious Ways. This is a Sam Adams novel by Daniel Meyer. I apologize. And this is another author that I really do need to get to at some point. In order to save his city, teenage wizard Sam Adams agreed to do a favor for Elise, vampire assassin, and she just showed up looking to collect. Turns out Elise stole a nuclear warhead, and now she's being pursued by a magic-hating death cult that wants it back. And she's brought along a group of bloodthirsty vampires to serve as backup, threatening to turn the streets of Williamsport into a war zone and a vampire hunting ground. With the stakes, I see what you did there, higher than ever before, Sam has to survive a dark labyrinth of espionage that he was never prepared for, while figuring out if Elise is truly friend or foe, all with countless lives hanging in the balance. That doesn't sound like a great time for poor Sam Adams. On the 31st of December, I know a lot of people in my circles are very excited for this one. I really need to pick up this author as well. We have The Woman of Steel and Scars, The Grinning Assassin, book number 2 by K.E. Andrews, and it looks like this. Stunning covers on the first book, stunning cover on the second book here. A woman demands vengeance, a soldier questions loyalty, a prince seeks justice. I cannot give you any more than that, selfishly, because I want to read it. And to finish us off, on the 31st of December, we have Death Hymns of Homara. This is Gunmetal Gods, book, ? By Zamil Akhtar. Now, I believe this series has 4 books out. I think this is just a novel within the Gunmetal Gods universe. I'm just going to put the cover up here. I have read book 1 twice. I didn't love it the first time. The second time I enjoyed it a lot more when I did it physically. I do want to read the rest of the series, so I don't want to look at the blurb, but it is coming on December 31st. The top line says, "Ah, traveler, come closer. Sit by the fire, hear my story." Those are our indie releases coming our way December of 2025. If you know of any other books that I've missed, please let me know. I will put them in the description box down below. If anyone comes to me with books, or I find that there are books that haven't been on these lists, I will put those down below as well. You can go ahead and check out the blogs from Rob J. Hayes and also AJ Calvin, because there is an opportunity to put your books on those lists within those blogs as well if you have releases coming out for 2026. That's a lot of indie releases for this year. I will continue to do this series, give them a video platform each and every month in 2026. I will see you in January. If you like the video, give one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.